Become a member. The membership benefits include OWASP is a nonprofit that stands for the Open Web Application Security Project. OWASP is a community of developers, technologists, and evangelists improving the security of software through tools and resources. OWASP has 100 plus active projects, and new project applications are submitted weekly. Projects are open source and are built by our community of volunteers, people just like you. Community and networking. There are hundreds of local chapters worldwide and thousands of members. Meetings are free and open to everyone. They include training, talks, and networking opportunities. Education and training. OWASP hosts many events each year. They are a great way to improve your skills, build your professional network, and learn about new trends in the industry. One of the many ways you can get involved is to become a member. The membership benefits include discounts for events and trainings, your own OWASP email address and Google Workspace access, a vote in our OWASP Global Board elections. And recently, OWASP added a brand new member benefit, access to hands-on application security training through the OWASP Secure Flag Open Platform. Join us and become a member today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us this morning. Sorry. 1 minute, please. Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's nice meeting everyone this morning, and you're all welcome to the OWASP event, OWASP Talks event.
Sorry, you cannot mute yourself.
At the end of the event this morning, or this afternoon, you will see that you have not wasted any of your time by the time you pay attention all through the program. As you've watched the video, OWASP Foundation is a non-profit foundation that works to improve the security of software through community-led open source software projects. We have hundreds of local chapters worldwide, which Lagos is one of them. And we also, let me admit these people. Okay. All right, joining us now. So we also have educational and training conferences that happens every year. OWASP Foundation is just a source for developers and technologies to secure the web. We have tools and resources available, community and networking, education and training. And for nearly 2 decades now, OWASP has been growing, and we are still growing. There is no end to that. And you are welcome. You are free to join. You are free to be a corporate member of this foundation. So not to waste much of our time, we are moving into the program proper. I have the person of John Nwachukwu to take us on this topic, SOCaas, or SOC as a Service, Cybersecurity Operational Resiliency. Who is John Nwachukwu? He is the founder and CEO at Zoracom. He is a certified cybersecurity, a project management expert, automated network, IoT, and services management guru. He has worked in a lot of places, and he has a whole lot of experiences which you are going to get from him. And this morning, you'll be taking us on SOC as a Service, Cybersecurity Operational Resiliency. So, John Nwachukwu, please, you have the floor. Let us hear what you have for us in our event this morning. You are welcome, John.
Thank you so much. Can you make me co-host so I could be able to share my screen?
I'm doing that right now.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Sound check. I hope you could hear me very well. Yet in a global business, we want to make sure we are protecting the web, protecting application and systems, protecting every process and system that runs over the internet. That is why it's imperative that we talk about SOCaas, which is Security Operational Center as a Service, and then focus on risk-based cybersecurity operational resilience. The most important thing is that organization, systems, and communities want to keep alive over the internet. We remember the incident that happened some weeks back with Facebook, and we see how it impacted the life of millions over the internet. Also, if you are a resident here in Nigeria, you could also remember what happened recently with the MTN network, the largest network operator in Africa, and especially in Nigeria, when they had some issues in the network. All this is based on challenges, based on issues affect the scope of the network, the application and systems. So we're talking about security information and event management. I hope you can see my slide. In 2018, the Central Bank of Nigeria, which is called CBN, came up with a risk-based cybersecurity framework and guidelines. And this cybersecurity framework and guidelines is just picking up already information we have on the web. Either it is information coming from the cybersecurity framework from COBIT, from NIST, or from iOS, all focusing on how to protect, how to control access to customer information, access to personal identification information that are resident with institutions like banks, resident with institutions that talks about financial governance. So when you talk about this cybersecurity operational resilience, you are looking about the board. The board is critically the ones making and ensuring there is a cybersecurity governance, because cybersecurity cut across protecting your information, protecting your data, making available useful data to people, to processes and application at the right time, the right way. So when you appoint a chief cyber information security officer, he walks around with the senior management, setting on cybersecurity policies, setting on standard for organization. So the key thing here is that you are aligning your cybersecurity governance, your cybersecurity responsibility with what the organization wants. And then you are providing a quarterly cybersecurity and health report of every system, application, and services and network that is in your organization. So the key thing here is that whether you are any institution that runs business online, you need to make sure you have a cybersecurity journey. And that journey informs you to have a daily cybersecurity activity, risk management, having a steering committee, deciding on how to develop, implement cybersecurity and programming your systems. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to do what is statutory requirements. You need to comply to statutory requirements and also some governance in your business. And in some cases, like the financial institution, they need to comply to the cybersecurity compliance required by the CBN. In the telecom, they need to comply with the NIDA requirements of making sure data and information are resident within the country in a sovereign state. So while you do this, you need to make sure you have governance, you have oversight, you could manage your risk, you could measure a risk, you could mitigate it, you could treat it, then you keep having an eye to see end-to-end the risk overview of your institution. So the key thing is that why we want to protect the internet, the application from all security patches, from all security issues, we also want to see how resilient are we? How do we make sure we come back to business if we are hit by attack or by systems, or perhaps our systems go down? So you want to have what we call cyber threat intelligence. How do you relate things that could be a threat, that could be vulnerability? How do you make sure the life cycle of your system, the end of life, end of system of services you are using are known to you. You have them, you have visibility. And when you have this visibility, critically, you'll be able to manage them. Remember, you cannot monitor or manage what you cannot see. And if only you can see it, then you can measure it. And when you can measure it, you can optimize it. And when you can optimize it, you can automate it. So that is the journey when we'll talk about cybersecurity, talk about using a SOC to have visibility into your network. But how can you achieve this? Obviously, we talk about organization, but importantly, individuals make up the organization, just like the community we are talking about, the OWASP community. It is individual coming together to see how we can protect web applications globally, how we can have a framework to guide us when we are developing software and systems and applications, so that all of them work in tandem. So there is a synergy in making sure the web is protected using tools, resources, and services. But you focus on, when you want to achieve this, you look at critically what we call achieving a 5 key step for you to maintain a cybersecurity operational resilience. There is 5 key steps that are important. Yes, arguably, we might say there might be more than 5, but in an oversight, well, let's look at these 5 things that can help us. One is that you need to have a unified platform. You need to have a platform that is able to help you to talk to the core network, the transport network, the application, the systems, and even the end user parts. So all the services that run across your network, across your vendor network, across your service provider network, you need to have a unified solution, a solution that gives you this visibility, a solution that helps you to be readily deploy a risk-based cybersecurity system. So what are you trying to do? You want to definitely identify, manage, and report risk in your environment. And that takes us to the second part of these 5 steps for achieving cybersecurity operational resilience. And that is number 2, which is know your environment. Who are you developing the application for? Who are you supporting? What service are you giving to your customer? So if you know the who, the what, and how, you'll be able to critically understand what are my key digital infrastructures that I need to protect. And when you are protecting them, you always talk about the CIA. It's not just the American CIA. It all means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Information that you manage, that is under your watch, have to be managed accordingly. Is it confidential? People don't just get access to it at their will. They must be the right people to get access to it. And integrity, does this information I have, is it the way it has always been? Or are there variations? Am I keeping track of the changes and configuration and variations in my information? It has to do with integrity. What about availability? When I need this information, when I want to source this information, when I want to use this information, do I still have it as it is? Or has it been tampered? It is critical for you understanding your environment. Because when you understand your environment, truly, you'll be able to manage your risk. Effectively, you understand the threat, the vulnerability, get a risk profile, and then have a high-level risk tolerance of your organization. What is the maturity level of your risk as an organization? Remember, which of us are contributing to organization? Either we work as staffs, as IT leadership, or even work as consultants to organizations. So how do we help this organization make an informed decision when it comes to assessing their measuring, mitigating, treating it, monitoring it, and at the same time, reporting it? Because you need to report. You need to keep a profile of what happens across board in your environment. When you want to report, you have to have an eye. That takes you to the 4th point, monitoring and reporting. So, because risk is an ongoing process. Managing this is continuous. How do you automate it? Like I said earlier, once you can measure it, you can optimize it. And once you can optimize it, you can automate it. So you automate the monitoring. So when there is an alert and information is notified to you, you can consolidate, help your customers, help yourself, even in your application. If you are developing the application, how am I showing that I'm a risk aware? My application is conversant with the latest risk and challenges that we are having. So when you do this proactively, you monitor and report risk, the health status to your board, to the regulators, even to the business or to your consultants. Finally, when you must have achieved a unified platform, you know your environment, manage your risk, monitor it, and report effectively on it. You are doing the last most important points in achieving and maintaining cyber security operational resilience, and that is having a strong team. People need to do all this process, but you need to simplify your employee experience so that you can foster risk-aware culture. You work smart, you solve solutions. You solve problem and give solution. So what are we looking at when we say you have a unified system? Remember, there are touch points in your services, in your application, in your network. How will you be able to have a unified solution to have a viewpoint into your system? It's very critical, my friend, because when you run such systems, you cut across different elements in your network, whether it is hybrid network, whether it's on-premise, whether it is customer environment you are supporting, you always come across business process automation. How do you tag? How do you group things? Definitely, you need to discover things and then have an up-to-date inventory of the systems. If you take it from the clockwise of this chart, you definitely see business process is key. For every business, there is a business model, there is an operating model for every business. And since we want to remain safe in the internet, we want to see how do we group things we do. Because when you do that, you'll be able to discover your LAN network, your WAN, your VPN, layer 2, layer 3, your services, your application, your server, your database, your VM, your systems. Even as much as it can go to your third-party email services from Azure, could be from Google, it could be from any other person that's giving you email services. Changes happen. Do you track your changes? How do you track changes? How do you back up? In case there's an issue, how do you fall back? In fact, when you study and analyze what happened to Facebook when this issue happened, a lot of things point down to having a DNS, having an internal DNS server. Why is it that they don't have external DNS server? They begin to compare with other IT giants, Amazon, like Microsoft, having external DNS servers. How does this happen? So changes happen in the network every day. It happens in your system, your application, in whatever you do. Do you have a clean change configuration management system? Because when you do that, it's easy for you to track the performance of your systems. And those systems can be network, servers, database, VM, even your laptop, even your printers. Sometimes even the ATM machine, the POS applications, the mobile application we use, how do we track the performance? Remember what we are talking about here. You want to have a unified system, so you have an end-to-end insight to your risk-based cybersecurity health status of your critical digital IT infrastructure or business process. Because your service management needs to be reported. And then a workflow, you need to see how things do. You know, there's always a workflow in a business. So how does all this work in line? A very simple example, you go to an ATM machine or you go to a bank or you honor your mobile app, you want to access the application, you want to access the credit in your account. Definitely, there are 1,001 things happening. The workflow between the application to the site, to the firewall, from the firewall to the core network, to authentication servers, to every list of elements that make sure that you have a perfect customer experience. That is a service management workflow. So you need to have visibility to this, and that is what this system is supposed to give you. Then, when you do this, other things that we don't want to neglect is the physical infrastructure, why all these network elements, application, and systems are housed. Do we have access system, video cameras, facility technology, IoT devices, being able to ascertain when they are physical breach? You want to have a system to give you that visibility. Then the vulnerability and life cycle. Every service, every system has a life cycle. Sometimes the half-life, when it gets to half-life, issues happen. So, but how do you solve this problem? How do you have visibility? I was intending that this discussion be an interactive discussion. I don't know if there is any question in the chat so far. We can talk about, but if not, no, compliance, you want to be compliant. You want to make sure you are compliant, you are keeping on to what is required, and then monitor your cloud system. Everything is on the cloud now. Sometimes we see all businesses are becoming digital natives. Every business, every system, people want to access it across the globe. Just like all of us joining this system, we are sitting in our, maybe in our garden, in our office room, wherever it is, across the globe, we're accessing this program because there is a service called Zoom, and Zoom now is secure. So, but all this have to be monitored. Visibility needs to be given. So when we talk about a unified system, remember, you want to know your environment. What are your environment? So when you want to know your environment, typically, there's what we call cross-silo, cross-technology, cross-vendor. Having an understanding of your environment will help you have up-to-date inventory of all authorized devices, systems, and applications, even users in your environment. So you need a your physical infrastructure layer, typically your host servers, your devices, your network, your cable infrastructure. Then you go to your virtual logical layer where you have your application, your services, your operating systems, your logical servers. Go to your business layer where you have the business process and transaction. You need to know your environment. You need to be able to categorize these applications that I'm building, these applications that I'm supporting, on what of the layer in my network, in my system, in my business, do you find it? And then you can easily do your inventory and do your change management system, because when you be able to do your inventory and change management system, you could see if I'm a service provider, am I monitoring my SLA? Or if I am consuming a service, are my service providers keeping to their SLA? You need visibility. And this you can only get if you have devices, you have real information on the network. And when there are faults, how do I follow up with these faults? Remember the topic we are discussing, SOC as a service in terms of cybersecurity operational resilience. So you need to have visibility in the whole system. So you'll be able to support not just your customer, also you who is also a customer, understand what your service providers are going through. You raise tickets. Most times we'll have issue with raise tickets, we'll complain, and people have to, the service provider have to come to our aid. And abundantly, you could see that your security management is key. Is key. You want to be safe. Some people say, do we safe or not at all? Security is important in all aspects. So you can see that in all these layers, both horizontal, the key thing here stands out here is your security management. It's important because you want to make sure that the services you are providing or services you are consuming are safe and secure, and that your personal data are not exposed, or the data of your customers or your consumers are not exposed. So when you know your environment, it becomes easy. Sorry, question? Question, please. think I had somebody said something. I hope I'm audible.
No, thank you. Sorry, that was by mistake, inadvertently.
Okay, but I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Good. So when you talk about one platform that correlates and promotes visibility of your security posture, you need to be able to have a full automated discovery process. You need to discover when things come into your network, when new devices, new applications, or new points of threat come into your network. And that's why you can categorize them as they are in different layers. Are they based on demo, application, infrastructure, research, lab, system, VM, wherever it is? You need to have that posture. You need to see it. So you can categorically say, these are new devices coming to my network. These are new threats coming to my network. And then you can have what we call a geographical alarm overview of your system, of your application. If it is an international organization, you could see that people are consuming your services. Where are the threat points coming? You could have an overview of the system, of what's happened, a global view, a helicopter view of the system. Now, when we talk about real-time status and analysis, you can deep dive. You can go in to see how does my application perform? How many connecting points are my application having today? What are possible challenges I'm having? Compliance issue, patch issue, release issue, variation in OS. You will see everything. You have it around. And then you can map your entire operational dashboard. You map critical services from the firewall, from the endpoint, from the hosted services that you are receiving from managed service providers. All this you can relate to your business focus weather map. So you can focus. These are my critical services that the leadership in my organization are concerned with. And these are the ones that the middle level managers are concerned with. And these are the ones that each of the employee in different units are concerned with and managing. Then you automate the reports. You have dedicated automated report that comes in, could be daily, it could be as it happens, ad hoc, it could be weekly, it could be quarterly, it could be monthly. Why you need this reporting being automated? Because there are a whole lot of information that you are mining, just like a big data, and then analyzing them so that you can make informed decisions. And these decisions are decisions that help you become resilient in terms of breach, in terms of cybersecurity issues, so that you can quickly revert back to how the system is or how it's supposed to be, or you can quickly solve issues even before the customer complains. So when you have this total visibility, you can deep down into your services, like if you're running a SAP, Oracle applications, you could critically understand the risk profiling of your cluster database, the way it is and who is connecting to them, and other necessary information. So the same way you have overview of your critical IT infrastructure, you can also have an overview of your application and server performance monitoring, server capacity, load virtual systems, availability and topology, application risk operational dashboard, your systems end to end, and the rest of them. So visibility is a key thing here. And when you do this, I'll tell you, when you do this, you will be able to solve critical infrastructure. You'll be able to move on to monitoring, because when you know your environment, before you move to monitoring, you have what we call, you manage your risk. You can systematically identify vulnerability in your network. You can systematically identify the end of life, end of services, and then comply to all required framework, IT, COVID, IT, them. Because now you are well informed to know your environment, you can manage your risk accordingly.
Hello, John.
So when you come, sorry?
It's like it's not visible, it's blur. I don't know. Is it coming from my own end?
Someone can confirm?
Yeah, I can see it from my end.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now monitoring is key. You organize and public information real time on your systems, the way things happen, your firewall, your endpoint protection, your network, your availability, even the service that your third party are giving you, your hybrid connection to AWS, to Azure, even to other local service providers. You are having a total visibility, and then you'll be able to do reporting. Your reporting could be multi-chart, could be based on time, real time, flexible tagging, and then you can categorically say, at this point, I have this issue, and you can identify them. And if you, since you are running a SOC, your SOC analyst and even threat experts can deep dive and make informed decisions, telling the business who is impacted. Because the key thing is identifying the problem before it comes. So in summary, for all who have said we're running out of time, we want to focus on building a strong team. And there are just 3 steps to building a strong team. And that is why having a technology that supports every stakeholder in the business. Remember, the stakeholder is either employee or a customer. So because you want to boost your employee experience, you want to ensure a brilliant customer experience, technology is important. So it's a game changer. You have one solution, one place, you manage your infrastructure, have visibility, and above all, you are collaborating with every stakeholder in the business. The question is, how then can I have a unified system, be able to know my environment, be able to manage reports, and build a strong team? The key thing is that you need to have 1,001 touch points in your network. You want to connect capabilities, interfaces, systems, every endpoint, every applications, every system, they are all talking to one another. Applications cannot run without talking to each other. And the bedrock of every application talking to each other is underlying network. Once you can get the network, do your syslog, do your SNMP, do your CSV, and the rest of them, you have a visibility. And when you have visibility, you'll be able to support your system. So friends, that's as much we can talk. As much we can talk for now. So it's open to discussion. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. So does any one of us have a question to ask John? John has been able to run us through a unified platform, knowing your environment, managing your risk, monitoring and reporting risk, and how you can build a strong team. So do you have any question for John? Okay. It's like there's no question for John right now, probably maybe at the course of the event. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you, John, for a very insightful presentation. So what I want, the question I have is, I understand that what you have, in the course of your presentation, there are some, for me, I try to categorize it into 2. There is the technical leg and there is the business leg, which has to do with decisions of the management. Now, talking about the technical section of the presentation, are there tools that can be used to monitor this, to carry out this activity that you have highlighted? By tools, I mean tools that can be used to, like when you were talking about monitoring and all that, tools maybe by OWASP that's available that can be used to do some of these things. So I would like to know. Thank you.
Sure, there are tools or systems or combination of tools, and obviously there are some open in the market, but there are some also we can talk about. Presently, I don't know whether you've heard about the SCIM for cybersecurity called WASO. maybe I will share it in part of my slide that I'm going to give to share with everybody. So it helps you pick and react to cybersecurity issues. Also, there's tools like StableNet. StableNet helps you to capture your infrastructure end to end from start to finish. So definitely there are tools. But the key thing is that when you combine tools in identifying and knowing your environment and providing solution on them, another thing is there is processes. So the key thing about these two tools I've talked about is that presently there are processes behind it. And even though I work for an organization, we do this for customers. So we provide these valuable tools for them so that they're able to have visibility into their business. And these tools help the management, help everyone to have, as it is, the health status of your cyber health status and also the health status of your network. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
Any other question? Yeah, John, it's like there's no further questions. We truly appreciate your coming for this event, and your part was so enjoyable, insightful, and I know every one of us really enjoyed you to the full. So we'll be expecting the slide and any other information you would like to provide us so that we'll be able to give it out to the attendants.
Sure, I'll make that available. And thank you so much for the opportunity for coming by to listen, and also we are open to communication. I will also share my contacts in addition with this slide in case you want us to assist you as organization, as a person, or we can also collaborate in areas of doing business. So thank you, friends. I'm still here.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the attendees, will be expecting the slideshow. So I'll be expecting it from you. So thank you very much for coming for this event, and we hope that when we call you any other time, you will answer us.
Obviously, I will.
Yeah. Have a wonderful weekend, John.